So I've messed up, and I don't know how badly yet. I'm in this area. This is an old area, the terracotta mining area. I was going to the skulk farm. We have like a little trail here. And as I'm following the trail, it dead ends. And I'm like, what? And I'm looking around and I see dead bushes. Dead bushes are new. The terracotta mining area is really old, like 1.7 old. That means this chunk got regenerated, and I'm starting to think it may have even overwritten our skulk farm. So there should be a skeleton spawner underneath the ground, like right here-ish. So we're just gonna go take a look and see, you know, how bad the damage is, really. And is it still here? That looks like a torch. There's nothing here though. I should explain, like, so A, we need skulk because I may have deleted the entire skulk chest last episode. Oh, that's not the best sign. I can see some redstone over here, and I think, that doesn't look like the full farm. It deleted the most important thing. The skeleton spawner is gone. So this whole farm is worthless now. Oh, that is not what I wanted to see. Oh dear. Ironically, the reason that I reset chunks is to save space on the world file. It makes it smaller, and you know, you can regen chunks and get like the dead bushes that I got up there. But it just removed some important stuff to save space. That's no good. We have some choices. So we can't roll back perfectly because it was a few episodes ago, so all of our progress would be lost. We may be able to just restore these chunks, but I need to figure out which chunks have been removed. Okay, so you should always make a backup before doing what I'm about to do here. 579 megabytes, so about half of a gigabyte. And here in MCA selector, I've pulled up the old version. This version is about 3 gigabytes. You can see all the data in the map, and you can see the holes in the cleaned map, right? So we need to figure out which holes to patch here, and I'm thinking what we actually might do. So we filter chunks. This is what I was talking about, the inhabited time. And the default's 5 minutes. I left it at the default because I haven't used it since updating to Windows 11. Usually I do 1 or 2. But I think we can actually do something really smart here. So anything under 5 minutes got replaced. And we want to keep anything maybe over 1 minute. So can we do this? Can we combine these maybe? And that would let us only find the ones that got deleted that shouldn't have got deleted. Yeah, you can see all the little orange spots, and it looks like a few of them are over here. And just to make sure we have the right chunk here, 010, -118. Oh, that's actually this chunk right here. In fact, I can see this little hole. That's how we get down to the skulk thing. So it didn't include either of these, so this didn't work. Unless, have I been in that chunk for less than 1 minute? Would you look at that? There it is. That's the same pattern. We have this weird line pattern. So I narrowed down this area, and I think we're just gonna kind of manually do stuff. Like, I don't really care about those chunks. I think I want to keep the old mountain, but we can delete the swamp here. And there's nothing over in that savanna, so we can kind of just boop. And then there is a thing here. We can copy chunks. And what I don't know is, can we just copy it over to this window? Will it put it in the right location? It's kind of hard to tell. Oh, never mind. There's a really obvious chunk line there. Okay, let's do paste chunks. At least it has a really unique pattern. You can just match, what is that, at the bottom? Like that. Yeah, that looks the same. Okay, so if I press enter, looks like we just paste the second time. It gives us this thing, and we don't want any offsets. So, oh, look at that. I think that's our skulk thing. Sweet. And while we're at it, I'm going to add it back in the other things that were mistakenly deleted. And to prevent this from happening again, I am going to change the fields of anything less than 2 minutes. I'm going to bring it up to 2 minutes. Because you can see it makes a really weird shape. It almost looks like it was a glitch originally anyway. So that should protect this in the future. Now we find out if it worked. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what modifying inhabited time does, it increases the local difficulty. So I just made the game harder in all those chunks, which is really how it should be. I mean, these chunks have been around a long time. Okay, cool. So now I can actually farm up the skulk and refresh or refill our skulk chest. That spawner doesn't look like it's working, is it? It has no particles. How does that make sense? It copied everything over. Oh yeah, there's no spawn potentials. By the way, this is an MCA selector's fault. Apparently the previous chunk didn't have this data either, so I've put in generic defaults, so it now should spawn skeletons like it did before. It's actually kind of crazy. This has been broken longer than I realized. I'm kind of curious what broke it, but really there's no way of telling if it's been broken for who knows how long. It could have just been a random update. There it is. And then I just gotta harvest all this. And I should probably figure out how to restart the cobblestone generator. I thought that thing just kind of went on its own, but maybe because we were updating the chunks it stopped. Oh, this piston can't push. There, all right. Look at that. No skulk is spreading when it dies, and that, I believe, is because there's only one skulk catalyst. I must have intended to bring more here eventually. There's even like a spot for one over here, but never placed them. So I suppose we could actually just update this farm too. We're kind of finding all kinds of problems. So here we are in an ancient city I've cleared, and I think there should be enough skulk catalysts to supply our farm. Whoa. There's shriekers here, but they're not in range of any sensors, so they're not getting triggered. That's kind of funny. It actually demonstrates... Wait, placing block does that. I didn't remember that. 4 shrieks to trigger a warden. We placed 1 block, so we have 2 placements. Although if we place it fast, it should just count as 1. Wait, do these sense stuff? Oh, there's just a sensor way up on top here. I see you, sneaky. As long as we don't step on them, we should be all right. So the point I was going to make, though, is I don't know if you do this, but in survival games, I tend to leave some resources behind, just in case. And it's actually for this exact scenario when all items are lost or unrecoverable. I'll know I have somewhere to come back to get the resources. And so even now, I'll choose to leave some of the resources just in case something terrible happens again. Uh-oh. Oh, I spawned another one. Toss an item. Oh! Nope, he saw me. Oh! Oh no. I can't see. Aha, found it. It's not fully blocked off by this wool. So we're actually just gonna take it. Oh, wait. No! Well, I lost my shovel to all that. And my quick access bundle that had like buttons and my crafting table and ender chest and stuff. This is starting to be a one thing leads to another thing kind of episode. Much better. All right, sweet. One thing really is leading into another with this, because I noticed that this gets stuck sometimes. So I was like, oh, I can fix that pretty easy. I just need a reset line here. And we need items to fill the jar up. So I was like, I don't know. I'll just grab some with some gravel with my shovel that I don't have. So I just really want a shovel back. And on top of that, the other thing I noticed in here that I had kind of forgotten about, we're almost out of redstone because we were making so many torches and repeaters and also command blocks too. And I never really show you my redstone farm, so we should look at that. So we'll just put a full stack of items in here, and that will guarantee that this will reset when a skeleton dies. So just in case it gets stuck. You know, I was thinking about the mistakes I made today, and I actually noticed a pattern. With the skulk farm disappearing, I just wanted a little bit more space. There was nothing wrong with the world. There was no update coming out. I just wanted a little bit more storage space. And with the skulk blocks losing the shovel, I was fine the first 2 times, but I wanted a little bit more shriekers, a little bit more catalyst, even though after putting all the catalyst in the farm, I still have 11 plus 3. What? So 14. So between you and me, I think I'm getting just a little too greedy. So we're going to try something here. So for the shovel, I have plenty of tools. It's really no big deal. I can just get a silk touch shovel back. And normally I'd want to put like mending on it and upgrade it to a netherite shovel. But I think with this one, we're going to call it contentment. And I'm not going to upgrade it at all. And we'll just use it as sort of a reminder to be happy with what you have, you know? And if all else fails, you know, it'll keep things interesting. And speaking of contentment, our skulk chest is looking quite nice once again. And I am going to make another quick access bundle here. But this time, I'm just going to let it fill up naturally. Because it was just getting jammed with all the stuff I wanted to, like, have access to at all times. And probably most of that stuff I didn't even need in there anyway. So, we'll just have a simpler quick access bundle. And I told you I'd show you the redstone farm, so let's take a look at this thing. We actually have a crafter built in here. So you can see there's witches. The only thing the command blocks do is just make the witches glowing, so it's easier to like follow them and see what's happening. And this is one of my more fun farm ideas. In fact, I call it the sip and slide. Because the witches will aggro onto me, sip a potion, and then slide right off the edge. And the way this track is designed, when we get to the outside edge, witches can spawn in the center. Like that. And then the closer track is when we can actually aggro them. If we're on the correct side. Like this. Wow, she just walked over to the complete opposite side. Whatever works, I guess. Anyways, because they buffed the redstone drops from witches a few updates ago, you know, that is something I've wondered has been happening. I think she just despawned up there. Oh boy, do we have another farm to fix? Well, anyway, you can see we're getting a little bit of redstone. This is the kind of thing like you have to AFK a fair bit, and honestly, I still haven't even like spawn proofed everything. I've spawn proofed a lot though, so it works pretty good. Even despite whatever that despawning was. I assume that's what that was. It wasn't, because I didn't see the witch fall. It seems we're being tested already. Is it contentment to just say, it's good enough? Or is that laziness? So I've been sitting here pondering that a little bit, and also, you know, farming redstone. And I don't think it would be such a terrible thing to fix the farm. What I did think we could do is try one small little change, and if this doesn't work, then that's all right. So basically, they're going up too slow. They have a chance to despawn every tick once they get a certain distance away from us, and that's quite a long time with how slow these bubble columns are. So I wanted to take a peek here. Turn on the lights. So soul sand isn't going to work unless we involve fences somehow. Because we could do the trick where we sort of push, yeah, where it kind of, oh, I stopped moving. I always forget exactly how this trick works. We need to separate it somehow, the water streams, because if there's water directly here, it's going to pour back, right, and push us away. That's the main problem we're dealing with. So if we do a sign there, and there, and do this, we move slower on this part. We do get pushed up here. And then I think if we have the water flowing a direction so that it'll actually pull us. Push, push, push. Not quite. Oh, it needs to be at the second level? Not quite. If only I could remember how to do this thing. Oh, wait a second. It says falling true. That means that's not a source block right there. Yeah. Now it's pouring over to the side. Haha, there it goes. And now we go way faster. Okay, we might need to put a lid on that. It's actually so fast now. Oh, how do I get out of here? I guess we're accidentally testing. And it accidentally worked. That is way faster. Ta-da! Okay. Oh, wait a second. It worked with these closed. I guess that makes sense because this is too tall. And with that, our whole witch farm should be updated. How are there cats in here? There's a lot of confusing things that just happened. Okay, it should be good to go though. Let's try it out. Ooh, oh, I thought I dodged the poison. Come on now. There we go. Boom, up the chute, up the chute. Very nice. You know, I think those two cats could actually help us out a bit. So I got some fish here. And we could try taming them. Oh, first try, wow. Let's try this other one. Oh, okay. He's stuck on a block. Ah. Haha. All right. Man, so 33 blocks of redstone already. That was not very long. I like how much they changed it. It makes redstone farming a lot easier. So I'm gonna call this one Trapper because he was trapped inside of the chute. And because cats scare away creepers, I was thinking we put it near our auto crafter for repeaters. Because I really don't want creepers to blow this thing up. And then the orange one we're going to call Lost, and he's going to find a home here with this librarian, I think. And that way we have more. Before we only had one cat. This one here, which prevented creepers from dropping down and blowing me up when I walk out of my entrance. Now, how are you teleporting? It may have been because he auto sat on the bed. Like I didn't right click him to get there. Make sure we right click him. Let's put him up here. Perfect. Oh, but yeah, what I was saying before, now we have more than 2 cats, so we can breed them in the future. So there we go. That's the redstone from the witch farm, and this is the redstone from the ancient city that I picked up while I was there. So that's a pretty good stockpile. There was one other thing I wanted to do today. So eventually, this whole chest room is going to be totally full of chests. There's going to be an 8x4x23 of chests, and I was like, you know what? That might be kind of laggy. So should we maybe switch to a storage system that takes up like a full block, like a barrel, for example? And to see the difference, I want to make a world of each type. So we have a chest world here. What? There's chests, but they're not loading in. It appears I've made a mistake. I was trying to update the chests because I can't seem to make a world with it. And yeah. Wow, now we're in business. It only replaces it once. It's still kind of laggy. So let's turn this off. I don't know if that actually worked. There. I haven't even filled up the whole world, and we're getting 4 or 5 FPS. And so the main thing I want to see is this noticeably better? Oh, it's not even close. Oh my. My guess was going to be about like 50 FPS or something, not just maximum. That's my FPS cap, by the way. If we set it to unlimited, I'd call that a big difference. Just for fun, I thought we'd try shulker boxes as well, and I can already tell it's not surviving. And in fact, I'd say it's the same as chests. That's really surprising. This is dispensers, droppers, and that seems to be about the same as expected. And this is the pottery world. So that's just something I've always been curious about. Not just for this project, but just in general, you know, how laggy are chests really? And clearly these blocks are way more optimized in terms of rendering, which makes sense because they're blocks. But the shulker box surprised me. I mean, it's a block too, but it's the inside that it has to render. And the animation too, actually. That is actually why the pot is also laggy, because it's got that animation and it's got the extra details up above too. So I'm hoping this is going to be a simple change. Right now it tests if the block is a chest. This is what we have to change if we're going to make it work with other things like barrels. But it would be kind of cool to like future-proof it too. So I was curious, is there a tag that these all share? We have items for barrels. I think that's the same the chest uses. Yeah, items, wait. Oh, none on the shulker box or decorated pot. So it stores the items in a different location? Oh wait, the shulker box just doesn't show it unless it actually has items in it. Okay, so that'll work with everything except for the pot, and that's fine. So if block becomes if data block items. There's just one problem. Notice how there's no -1 here. That's because a chest isn't a full block, and so the armor stand is actually sitting a little bit below block height. So an armor stand on a barrel would actually need to check 1 block below it, but I think it's less confusing to actually have the armor stand inside of the block. And so I think there is something we can do here. Let's just get the data from one of these guys. Oh, it's not already there. So we can add it, no gravity. So if we set that to true, it won't fall down if we teleport it slightly below. Yeah, okay, so that could probably work. What in the world? Needs redstone. That means this isn't triggering. Is that supposed to be like that? Wait, what? Wow, what a catch. So this is for going up and down, or specifically going up, and I never really use that, which is probably why I've never encountered this bug. That definitely should be on. Okay, I'm kind of glad that we're here. Man, in my opinion, it would be really nice if there was like a visual indicator, kind of like, you know, with conditionals, where it changes the visual of the block. If there was one of those for needs redstone. It'd be kind of annoying probably for them to have to make all those textures, because they'd have to have all the combos, you know, conditional, active, unconditional needs redstone, condition, you know what I mean? So, not a perfect solution. All right, I'm gonna keep doing this. It'll take a while, but it should give us some future-proofed chest selectors. Oh, and this one's supposed to be needs redstone, by the way. And then I'm gonna make sure to set everything, all the bookmarks to no gravity true. Yep, that changed a lot of them. And we're pretty much ready to go. We're gonna add one more set of chests here, AKA barrels. So right now the end is here where this armor stand is. And assuming all the changes worked, I'll press this button and it should adjust the end to be right over those barrels. Uh-oh. Now hang on a second. Either unless or if should work, but neither work. Does it not return false if the data or the block is in a data holder? Oh, it doesn't. Wow, that kind of kneecaps the whole plan. We need to be able to check that there is no block underneath the armor stand so that it can go back to the beginning of the line and then cycle through. Haha. All right, we can use a predicate. Oh, wait, the predicate doesn't have built-in coordinates. So we'd have to reset the position every check. That's overcomplicating things a little bit. Oh, man. Wait a second. Minecraft guarded by piglins. That's a built-in tag we could check for. It's on both of them, and it's obviously not on this stuff. Now, technically, we'll get false positives if any of these blocks are within 1 block around the chest thing, because it goes 1 block out before realizing, oop, too far, and then it goes back in. But we're not using any of these blocks anywhere in this area. You know, it's just regular stuff like walls, lanterns, signs. None of those are going to trigger it, which those are the main things. So we could probably get away with using that, actually. Okay, let's see if that change fixes it. That looks like a yes. No floating armor stand there. No floating armor stand there. Okay, so I'll just go change that to all of the... Oh, okay. It's worse too because there's more unlesses than there are ifs. And you only have to change it on the unless. I do have a slight sense of maybe I could have been more content. Maybe I didn't need to change all this. I could have been fine with chests. It's probably not that much lag. But on the same hand, I don't think contentment needs to stand in the way of effort. So maybe it's just about appreciating each step in the process. Even right now, this moment's not such a bad moment. It's pretty simple. Nothing terrible is really happening. So I guess you could say it's kind of a nice moment. Oh, and it's over. Okay, all of the commands have been changed. And this is certainly an exciting moment because now we can turn everything back on and see if it works or if it doesn't. So here we go. Go forward a chest, go backward a chest. Seems to be working. I think it's like chest 42. Oh, yeah, it's on the barrel right now. I realized I forgot to name it. These all have names. But let's try putting something in both halves of the barrel and see if that carries over. Yep. Yeah. Okay. If we go past the end, does it go? Yeah, it goes back to the beginning. Perfect. It works totally perfectly. I'm going to rename it. And actually, let's swap off of it so we can rename it properly. Box 41. There we go. And there it is. Showing up just like it's supposed to. Awesome. Okay. You know, I don't have like a projectile chest, so we could maybe put arrows and actually have some tipped arrows, spectral arrows. Mostly I've been keeping them in the mob drops chest, but it's a little unintuitive, so it makes sense to give it its own thing. You know, there's more changes that I could make to this system and may make in the future, but for right now, I'm really happy with what we've accomplished. We're free to use barrels or chests, whichever we prefer, and I can even swap out all these chests to barrels later if I really want the extra performance. And we can use copper chests when they come out if we want. But yeah, we fixed the skulk farm, we fixed the witch farm. That's a good episode. Well, that is going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, following along with all my mistakes and things I've learned along the way. It was a fun ride. Later.